first seed. Like, ain't that something?
It's rare that something like that happens, but when it does happen, it just makes it all the better.
Yeah, it just really shows that your seed number kind of doesn't really matter most of the time. It's just like what matters is just how you play. Like every player you play against is just another player. Don't think that like this is something. If you ever face a top player, don't think of them as a top player. Think of them as a player you have to beat, right? Just think of it that way, all right? Because like here's the thing, we all got the same goal: to be the very best, like no one ever was. So,
in order to do that, we have to catch them, which is the real test, and train them, which is our cause.
Exactly.
And much like regionals, we have to travel across the land,
searching far and wide.
Each Pokemon to understand
the power that's inside.
It's just I'm not even going the rest of
bars.
We are a duo right here, guys. We are a duo. Like we just work off each other. That's what you like to see.
That is what you like to see, because like we're talking about, like it's not just the Florida players that are best. The Florida casters, we bounce off each other. We got that connection.
Because if you want to be a master of Pokemon, you got to have the skills to be number one, and the best way to be number one is right here in Florida.
Exactly. So next we got Andrew Navarro and Riley Wilcox, and so. Wow, I mean, this is gonna be good. I haven't seen Andrew Navarro on stream yet. I think I've never seen any of his matches, but I've seen plenty of Riley's.
Yeah, Riley has been an incredible stream match here in Maitland, everybody, and Andrew has been a very up and coming Orlando player,
Absolutely.
especially at the collegiate level at UCF.
Yep, it's just like. But look at these two players here. We have the Amoonguss.
We got grass type galore here.
We got grass types going on. We got Abomasnow and Ogerpon, and I think that's a Toedscool behind that Amoonguss, because there's no way Amoonguss has those legs.
No. although could you imagine that? Like that's like
could you imagine him like waddling around?
or even better, that could be like that maybe Riley got a commissioned Brute Bonnet. He's just missing the.
It's so good.
The little
you know how like Brute Bonnet is like the ancient form of like Amoonguss. Like, do you think they like evolved downwards and that was just its legs at one point?
Oh, that would have been crazy if it did.
That's so funny.
That would have been crazy if it did. If Amoonguss, or not Amoonguss, if Brute Bonnet was the Pokemon there.
Yeah, it's just. I think that's a funny thought.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty funny thought to think about between Andrew and Riley. And again, they are two of the better players in Florida right now, and making it to top 4 is no small feat in and of itself.
Yeah, and now we're able to take a look at these teams, and so we've talked about O'Reilly a ton by now. So let's take a look at Riley's team firsthand. First off, he has Urshifu Rapid Strike, Terra Water, Unseen Fist, normal stuff. Choice Scarf to make it super fast to be able to take anything out super quick. Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, Close Combat, U-Turn.
And now the thing about Riley's team that normally, or at least from what I've spoken to him off screen, is that Riley loves Double Genie. He loves his Landorus. He loves his Tornadus. And he pilots those two absolutely flawless. In fact, when I battled him, we needed a third game just to be able to finish that. And just the way that he pilots these two, and he even ran those Double Genies in Orlando.
Yeah, he's just a phenomenal player in general. And, like, it's just great. And now we're looking at Andrew Navarro's team. He's using an actual snow team.
A little bit of a shout out to another fellow, not former, he's a fellow Florida VGC player.
I know you're talking about
Matt Stevenson.
Matt Stevenson, yep.
Using the Ninetales and the Baxcalibur there. The Ninetales is Terra Water with the Light Clay to make sure those Aurora Veils go up. But look at that Baxcalibur. Terra Ghost, Dragon Dance, Clear Amulet.
Yeah, it's
And to round it out, he does have Booster Energy Flutter Mane, the Incineroar with a Figi Berry, not a Citrus Berry, a Figi Berry.
Yep.
With Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Parting Shot, and Fake Out. Ogerpon Wellspring with Wow.
Power Whip.
Whip. You almost never see Power Whip on Ogerpon. It's
Power
either
Whip.
Horn Leech or Woodhammer.
Power Whip is very bold to put on the Wellspring Ogerpon.
And then on Andrew's Amoonguss, the Sludge Bomb, the Spore, the Rage Powder, and the Protect. There's no Pollen Puff on
none
Andrew.
at all.
That is something that is really insane.
Yep. So there's different. They both have Amoonguss, but there's so many differences between the Amoonguss. Their Terra types are different. Riley has Fairy.
And Rocky Helmet.
Yep.
And Amoonguss is Water with Citrus Berry.
And then Riley's has Pollen Puff, while Andrew has Sludge Bomb. So it's like they have a couple differences there.
And the Incineroars are pretty similar too. They're both Terra Ghost, Intimidate. They both have a Recovery Berry. It's just a matter of which berry is the Recovery Berry. But their 4 moves, perfect synergy. Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Parting Shot, Fake Out, which is a standard Incineroar.
Oh yeah,
step.
yeah, of course, because those are like it's for I wouldn't say best moves because it's really just up to preference with Incineroar. I mean anything really works on Incineroar because it's Incineroar.
Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into our top 4 matchup
here. A little
here.
fist bump between the two players.
Show of respect between our competitors. Andrew Navarro, Riley Wilcox. One of these two trainers will be a finalist here in Maitland. Who is it going to be? Game number 1 is about to get started. And we're going to see Riley lead off with the Torn and Urshifu, and Andrew leading with the Ogerpon and the Amoonguss.
So, there's definitely some pressure for a follow me from the Ogerpon going on right now, and that's might be a little scary for Riley to deal with immediately.
You're definitely right there. I mean, the Tornadus does have the opportunity to go for something like a Bleak Wind Storm here, which is super effective on both that Ogerpon and the Amoonguss right now.
Yep.
But the Urshifu, it does have that Choice Scarf on Riley's side. So if he goes for something like a Surging Strikes, which would be very problematic with 2 water types, but we do see a Taunt coming out on the Amoonguss' side here, and Ogerpon goes for actually a move that will go after the U-turn. The U-turn comes out, and Urshifu does damage and switches out.
So that means Ogerpon is going for a big attack move, either a Power Whip or a Ivy Cudgel. If it's an Ivy Cudgel,
this is going to be really
that
big.
could
We
do
do
a
see
lot of
Intimidate
damage.
coming out on the Ogerpon, and Ogerpon did go for the Ivy Cudgel
onto the
into,
Incineroar.
and it
Ooh.
almost gets a one-hit knockout here. However, the Citrus Berry coming out on Riley's side, that is really helpful for Riley there. And Amoonguss can't use Spore because of the taunt.
Not being able to Spore is definitely very good for Riley right now, because I mean, if I'm Riley, I don't want to deal with Spore.
Essentially, this Amoonguss can only use Sludge Bomb, or it has to switch out here.
Exactly. And so that's just really good for Riley to have right now.
I would agree entirely there. This Tornadus, by just getting that turn 1 taunt, is really good. But we do see Riley switch out the Incineroar into the Raging Bolt. So we now know all of Riley's Pokemon, and the Ivy Cudgel coming out onto the Raging Bolt, not very effective with that attack
rain
drop.
Dance, no Tailwind, so that means a Bleak Wind Storm is coming out, taking out the Ogerpon
And
proccing the Citrus Berry on the Amoonguss.
That is a big play for Riley there, as the Citrus Berry does come out and heals Amoonguss by 25% of its maximum health.
Yeah, gonna do a lot. And then Sludge Bomb, let's see if it...
It does get the 30% poison chance. This Raging Bolt is now on a timer.
Raging Bolt being on a timer is definitely unfortunate for Riley, because Raging Bolt is a good Pokemon for Riley to have.
I would agree with that, because by virtue of the Raging Bolt being poisoned, now that it's on a timer, it really can't do much to the Baxcalibur potentially.
No, it cannot.
But we do see Ninetales making an appearance on the field, activating that snow warning here,
Yep.
potentially trying to bait out something like a Rain Dance maybe.
If it's baiting out a Rain Dance, it's just getting a free turn from the Tornadus, so that the Tornadus is basically not doing anything. But that's only if it's not trying to go for the Aurora Veil this turn. So it's definitely a bit of mind games going into this turn right here, but honestly, Riley's in such a nice position that he might be able to Rain Dance comfortably.
I think so, because if he does go for the Rain Dance here, it would help out with Bleak Wind Storms and also prevent Ninetales from getting the Aurora Veil up. and Ninetales and Baxcalibur with the snow, they would get the 50% defense boost. There would not be any defense boost.
Looks like Riley's going for a terrestrialization. I think this is on Riley's side. Yes, with the Raging Bolt
And
Terra Fairy. Fairy Bolt to do in front of the Sludge Bombing Amoonguss.
I would agree immensely with that because now that is super effective. The Rain Dance does end up coming out here on Riley's side, and the Blizzard comes out
But it's going to miss the Raging Bolt going into the Tornadus, though.
doing over 50% to the Tornadus here. But look at how much damage that did with the Thunderbolt here. No poison on Tornadus. That would have been massive.
That would have been very big because, oh, and the Amoonguss no longer is taunted. That
The
could be
Amoonguss shook
very
off the
important.
taunt. That is really massive here, ladies and gentlemen, because now Tornadus can go for something like a Bleak Wind Storm, which is guaranteed to hit by virtue of the rain being out. It bypasses the accuracy check.
Yep, yes it does, and that's going to be very important moving forward into this game.
So now Andrew has to think long and hard about what he wants to do, because if he keeps the rain up, then Baxcalibur is kind of fodder.
Yeah, like, Andrew's kind of on the back foot here, seeing as, like, Riley has, even though Riley has 2 Pokemon on the field that are low health and one is poison, Riley has his rain up, and Riley just, he just has good positioning right now.
As we see
Thunderclap,
Raging Bolt going for the Thunderclap into the
taking out the
Ninetales, and it's
Ninetales.
enough to knock out Ninetales. So now Riley guarantees the weather will stay on his side of the field.
Yep, and so now there's going to be guaranteed Bleak Wind Storms throughout the rest of the game if Riley chooses to keep going for Bleak Wind Storms.
But now here's the most important part of what's left in the back for Andrew Navarro. It is that clear Amulet Baxcalibur, so
Yes, it
Bleak
is.
Wind Storm will not lower the speed. So right now, Tornadus will be able to hit it with a Bleak Wind Storm, but it won't matter.
Yeah, and so here's the deal with Baxcalibur. It is actually Terra Ghost. So if that Urshifu in the back attempts to go for a close combat onto it because of the fact that it is resistant to Surging Strikes, it might not even help at all because it can just change its typing completely.
You're absolutely right there, Landon, because we're looking at how Riley is. Riley kind of has positioning on the board, but anything is possible here. We got a little bit of time. It's going to be close, but we do
forget about that.
as we see a Terra
change-
activate, and it's on Amoonguss.
It's on Amoonguss, so forget about that change for the
Baxcalibur.
Baxcalibur because of the fact that it's already burnt on the Amoonguss, but let's see how this helps Andrew here.
You see a Tailwind come out on the side of Riley. I think that is a good play to double the speed on your side of the field. A Dragon Pulse coming out. It's super effective into the Baxcalibur, and it lives on 2 HP.
That's a lot.
What a survival by that Baxcalibur.
That is insane for that Baxcalibur right now. And so now we just have the low HP Baxcalibur and the Amoonguss against Tailwind and Rain Dance with the Incineroar and the Urshifu on the opposing side of the field.
Exactly, and on Riley's side, the Incineroar is not the safety goggles, so he can essentially get a Spore off here, and he's now resistant.
See, here's the thing. Riley is able to fake out the Amoonguss and basically get a guaranteed whatever move he wants onto that Baxcalibur. Because that Baxcalibur is not able to Terra Ghost, and anything's going to take out 2 HP.
Just about. Because now it remains to be seen what Riley and Andrew are going to do here.
It does.
We see a fake out coming out into
onto
the
the
Amoonguss.
Amoonguss. And then it's going to be a close combat, and it's just... Let's see if this Amoonguss can run it back like Orlando Regional.
It's very possible here because this Amoonguss, it did go for fake out, so it will be flinched on this turn.
Yep.
So now, by going with the close combat here, it's a neutral hit.
It looks like it's going to be... Yep, it's a neutral hit, and that's
it's
enough to give Riley the first game.
So Riley is able to defeat that Amoonguss, and he wins game number 1, 2-0 over Andrew Navarro.
Yep, Riley had a pretty commanding position throughout the game. He was very comfortably playing, even with that Poison Luck onto that Raging Bolt.
And even getting the terrestrialization on the Raging Bolt, he risked his Raging Bolt being super effective against the Amoonguss. That was a really risky play.
Oh, it was an incredibly risky play, but he just decided to play the game to his standard.
And the other thing that was incredible was when Raging Bolt hit Thunderclap on the Alolan Ninetales.
Yep.
Ninetales could have very easily switched out there.
Yep.
And it would have been fine. But he went for Thunderclap, and he got the Thunderclap play correct, which allowed him to have even more command of the board because he kept the weather on his side and didn't play to Andrew's weather.
Gosh, you would not believe that Riley is the 8th seed in this tournament with how well he is playing today.
You would think that he was the 1 seed.
I know, right?
And he beat the 1
He
seed.
beat the 1 seed. Like, Riley is definitely the underdog right now in every match he's in for this top cut, but he's playing out of his mind.
And if I remember correctly, because we talked about the Orlando Regional since it was literally last week, wasn't Wolf the 8th seed?
I actually don't know. I think he was. He was either the 8th or the 7th.
He was either the 8th or the 7th. If he was the 8th seed, are we going to have a run back of 2 8 seeds in the finals in back-to-back weeks of Orlando?
I mean, that's crazy.
That would be amazing if that's the case.
Now we're going into game 2 of top 4, and we're seeing another fist bump between these two.
Just a show of respect. Good Frenches as Riley.
Same lead from Riley.
But a little bit of a change-up on the side of Andrew Navarro. He is leading that Baxcalibur and Fluttermane.
Fluttermane is booster speed, and so it might have some speed control options going into it. It's going to be faster than that Urshifu unless there's a Tailwind going up.
However, the Tornadus does have the Covert Cloak on Riley's side, so an Icy Wind wouldn't do much for Andrew's game outside of super effective damage onto that Tornadus.
That is absolutely correct. And so now, I mean, we'll have to see how this goes. Urshifu Tornadus is just looking pretty good against Andrew right now in this scenario.
Exactly, because we're looking at how that Fluttermane is, but by virtue of Fluttermane switching out at any point in time, it loses that booster energy as it is right now.
Yep, it's losing that booster energy right at this moment.
As we see Ogerpon come out, and Riley switching out.
Urshifu, wow.
This is very interesting, and into Incineroar. So Incineroar comes out here, gets an Intimidate drop on the Ogerpon, but not on the Baxcalibur.
Yep, that clear amulet item.
But
now a taunt onto Baxcalibur, preventing any of those.
Did he go for Dragon Dance? He did!
He did!
He went for Dragon Dance!
Wow.
What a play by Riley Wilcox there. That taunt prevents the Dragon Dance from coming off.
Incredible play by Riley. He just knew exactly what to do in this situation.
That is an amazing play by Riley. And now Andrew really has to think about what he wants to do in this situation.
He doesn't have his Dragon Dance options. He can't protect on that Baxcalibur. Really is just like on the back foot again in this game too.
Exactly. It just remains to be seen what is going to happen here for Riley, because there is the fake out pressure here. But no, we see a Terra come out on the side of Riley. And it's going to be the Tornadus terrestrializing into a Steel type.
Probably to prevent the super effective Icicle crashes. And so maybe that's a fake out onto the Ogerpon. If it is, then it's still onto the Baxcalibur.
It is still onto the Baxcalibur, and Ivy Cudgel comes out into the Tornadus slot here, just under 50%.
Wow.
Baxcalibur flinches. Bleak Windstorm comes out, and it does major damage onto that Ogerpon with a speed drop to boot.
That is insane. So now the Incineroar is basically guaranteed to be outspeeding the Ogerpon under Tailwind.
Exactly. And the other thing to note, Baxcalibur went before Tornadus there. So that means that Baxcalibur might be faster than Tornadus?
Yep. That's
how often do you hear that?
No, not well. I mean, how often do you see a Baxcalibur? To be fair,
true point. How often do you see a Baxcalibur? But that's not to discredit Baxcalibur. It is
not at all.
It is a very good Pokemon. But now Riley has an Incineroar out there, a -1 Ogerpon on the other side, and that Ogerpon is at very low health.
Yeah, it is, and like This
see a
Ogerpon doing a spiky shield, play a little passively so that maybe we'll get some chip on that Incineroar. Oh,
Glaive Rush over 50%.
gonna proc
Activates
the
the Citrus
Citrus
Berry.
Berry.
But now Glaive Rush, by virtue of that, any move used into Baxcalibur will do double damage.
So how much is this Bleak Storm gonna do?
We're
It
going to
hits.
find out. It does enough! That is a knockout on the Baxcalibur!
Man,
That is huge on Baxcalibur, but that is the negative of Glaive Rush. It does major damage at the cost of any attack coming in you doing double damage.
yeah, I mean,
And that's why
Riley is stepping on the gas throughout this entire matchup.
and see, that's why you sometimes see Protect on a Glaive Rush set, so you can use that move and then just protect and make sure that any attack coming at you will not do super effect or essentially double damage.
Yeah, exactly. And even so, Riley taunted that Baxcalibur, so it couldn't even do that strategy as much, even if it lived.
As you see Fluttermane going for a Moonblast here, a resistant Moonblast into that Tornadus
This
slot.
Tornadus is not using any Tailwinds. Oh,
It avoids
Ogerpon.
on the Ogerpon.
That could be huge.
No speed drop on the Fluttermane is big, but the Tornadus does go down here, ladies and gentlemen. That might actually be beneficial for Riley to let that Tornadus go down here. You would have liked to take Ogerpon instead, but he goes for a Flare Blitz into the Fluttermane, and the Fluttermane survives on just 9 HP!
That is ridiculous.
Now, of course, there was a 10% chance that there was a burn on that Flare Blitz. If that burn would have come out, that would have been crazy,
That would indeed.
But Raging
been
Bolt
very
is
crazy.
one of Riley's last Pokemon here, and that is really incredible, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a low HP Fluttermane, a low HP Ogerpon, and there is an Amoonguss in the back for Andrew. And technically, as we saw, Amoonguss did hard wall an Urshifu in Orlando last week.
It's able to wall a lot of things, and honestly, Andrew's still in a pretty solid spot simply because of the fact that he can, he has that Amoonguss tool available to him, and that can be very beneficial.
As we do see a switch out here on the Ogerpon slot. Amoonguss is coming out into that slot on the field. As a Moonblast coming out from the Fluttermane, this is super effective, over 50% damage. No special attack drop.
If that special attack, but if a Flare Blitz is coming in, that might do.
Ooh,
that might do insane damage.
What
Or
is
even
the-
if it's a knockoff.
It's a knockoff.
Gets
and
rid of the Citrus Berry, though, so no extra recovery for Amoonguss for the rest of the game because it can't even get the Regenerator boost anymore.
That
No
is
more
a-
switching out.
That is a huge play for Riley, getting that knockoff off of that Amoonguss, making sure that it stays at the health that it is for the remainder of the game, because these are the last two Pokemon for Andrew Navarro, and Amoonguss can't get that Regenerator off.
See, here's the thing. This Amoonguss, yes, it's Terra Water, so it can resist those Flare Blitz, but there is still electric-type attacks on this Raging Bolt. It has Thunderbolt, not just Thunderclap.
And now it's essentially a mind game here, because we saw when it Terra Watered, that close combat took out Amoonguss from
Yep.
just over 50% health.
Yep, and so this is gonna be an end game to say the least.
You see a switch out on the Incineroar here, potentially trying to just have a little bit of extra recovery here as Urshifu makes an appearance onto the field, and Ivy Cudgel into the Urshifu slot is not very effective, and Raging Bolt going for the Dragon Pulse into the Amoonguss slot, and it doesn't do enough, and a Spore comes out. This Raging Bolt is taking a nap.
This Raging Bolt is taking a nap, but here's the thing. Close combat might be able to take out both Ogerpon and Amoonguss one hit each.
I think you're right, because this Urshifu is a Choice Scar variant. So a close combat and it might be over.
It very well might be over. And so this is close for sure, but U-turn.
That is a very unique play. A U-turn onto the Amoonguss, actually knocking it out, preventing any extra spores,
Yep.
and
then-
bringing in that Incineroar for an Intimidate drop.
Yep, getting that Intimidate drop is going to be very... it might just be a game sealer right here, because if you don't target the Incineroar, that's a free fake out. And a power whip missed.
And it missed the power whip. The Raging Bolt is still asleep. It takes its one guaranteed turn of sleep right there.
Yep.
But Andrew Navarro, seeing the writing on the wall, he has conceded this battle, and Riley Wilcox, our 8th seed, is in the final.
Look at him go. I mean, 8th seed, best seed. I mean, like, look at him go.
The cold never bothered Riley anyway. The cold never. I can't even believe I just said that line. Oh my God! I did not think those movies were as good as everybody makes them out to be.
I mean, I don't know, man.
But that was a masterclass by Riley Wilcox there.
Absolutely.
I mean, I said that Riley loves these double genies. He didn't even need Landorus.
He didn't use Landorus at all. He's told me several times he's an Amoonguss lover. I don't remember seeing Amoonguss at all in this set.
Actually, you're right. I don't think Amoonguss came on Riley's side. He identified his pieces on the board that were going to get him the most optimal solution towards a victory, and just went absolutely insane against Andrew Navarro.
I mean, he knew it was going to win, and so he just used it both times, and like he used the same exact lead both games, and he had the same exact in the back both games because he knew what would win.
And we remember back in Regulation D when Urshifu and Tornadus were first legal, that was a very major staple combo, was Tornadus and Rapid Strike Urshifu to either Tailwind Surging Strikes or Rain Dance Surging Strikes or Bleak Wind Surging Strikes or just Bleak Wind anything.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Riley did a lot of Bleak Winds. I mean, I think last game he didn't Tailwind until the very... No, last game he didn't Tailwind.
No, he didn't Tailwind. He just went for the taunt on turn 1. He basically stopped Excalibur straight cold in his tracks.
Yep, and then the game before that, he taunted the Amoonguss, and Bleak Wind.
I don't think he missed a Bleak Wind until game 2.
And then, well, he just kept using Bleak Winds game 1, and then on the last turn of being in the game, he set up Tailwind.
And
so,
honestly, that's just the way the cookie will crumble in Pokemon.
Yep.
If you're able to get your board pieces played optimally, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the battle.
Exactly. And honestly, that was just, I mean, an amazing set from Riley and Andrew. I mean, congrats to Andrew for making it this far. Congrats to Riley for making finals. And
now he awaits the winner of Siler and Patrick Connors.
Yep, and we've seen Patrick Connors on stream twice today. I don't think we've seen Siler on stream today, but he has a Bronzong and an Okidogi. So, I mean, let's see if Patrick wins or if, like, the off-meta team is going to win this.
I mean, an off-meta team did make top 64 at Orlando last week.
Travis Tyson.
Florida local Travis Tyson with the Monkey Dory, Raikou. I was going to
Assault Vest Raikou.
Assault Vest Raikou.
Not Assault Vest
Monkey
Raging
Dory.
Bolt.
Leftovers Hisuian Gudra. Choice Banded Dragonite. Follow Me Magmar. And competitive Milo.
Okay, look at his team and tell me what you think the most meta Pokemon is there.
Magmar.
Or Dragonite?
Okay, yeah, probably Dragonite over Magmar.
So I'm going to tell you what he told me. He said the least valuable member of his team was Dragonite.
And seeing as how I beat Travis's team, I can confirm, because all you have to do is put a Golden Go in front of it, and you basically end it.
It's a super good team, but yeah.
I think we have our finals matchup. I think Patrick Connors beat Riley Wilcox, beat Siler.
Did he?
I honestly don't know.
We're
going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen, get our finalists all acquainted, and we will be back with our finals. One of these trainers will be facing off to crown themselves the April local here in Maitland, and we will have that action for you momentarily.